Have you ever wondered what truly happens to the warmth of your hands, the electrical storms in your mind, and the very essence of your energy when the biological machine finally comes to a halt? We walk through our lives surrounded by the illusion of absolute endings. We watch the seasons change, the leaves fall, and we feel the relentless forward march of time, assuming that death is a profound and final erasure. But the universe does not work that way, at least not in the way our human intuition leads us to believe. The cosmos is a master of transformation, a vast and ancient theater where nothing is ever truly lost, and everything is engaged in a quiet, endless journey of becoming something else. When we look at the night sky, we are not just looking at distant fires. We are looking at our own history, our own profound origins, and our ultimate destination, the mystery of life after death, when stripped of its supernatural garments and examined through the gentle, rigorous lens of science, reveals a truth that is far more magnificent, far more comforting, and far more awe-inspiring than anything we could have possibly invented. Before we dive deeper into this cosmic journey, I want to take a brief moment to welcome you. I am Theodore, the researcher, your gentle guide through the profound mysteries of the universe. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch these quiet explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace and wonder in these cosmic journeys, please consider subscribing. It helps us tremendously, allowing us to continue bringing these meditative scientific stories to you, and it lets us know that you want to keep exploring the infinite universe together. Now, let us return to the quiet silence of the cosmos and the profound question of our own eternal nature. To understand what life after death really is in a scientific sense, we must first profoundly shift our perspective on what we actually are. You're not simply a static object moving through the world. You are a highly organized temporary pattern of energy and matter. Every single thought you have ever had, every memory you cherish, every moment of sudden wonder you have experienced, is the result of intricate electrical impulses dancing across the vast neural networks of your brain. The warmth radiating from your skin right now is infrared energy, a gentle glow that you're constantly broadcasting out into the universe. In the language of physics, specifically the first law of thermodynamics, there is a fundamental and unbreakable rule. Energy cannot be created, and it cannot be destroyed. It can only change its form. This is not merely a dry academic fact. It is a profound existential guarantee. When scientists at agencies like NASA and the European Space Agency study the life cycles of stars and planets, they are observing the exact same physical laws that govern the microscopic processes within your own cells. The universe is incredibly consistent in its profound elegance. The electrical energy that allows your brain to process these very words is identical in nature to the raw, untamed energy that powers the brilliant lightning storms in the turbulent atmosphere of Jupiter or the massive solar flares erupting from the surface of our sun. You are powered by cosmic currents. Therefore, when your heart beats its final rhythm, the universe does not lose a single drop of energy. Instead, it reclaims what it loaned you. The energy that animates you, the very spark of your conscious experience, belongs to the universe. It was borrowed from the cosmos, and when your biological processes cease, that energy does not simply vanish into nothingness. It is released. It flows out of you, returning to the vast, quiet environment from which it came, radiating outward as heat transferring into the air, the soil, the very fabric of the world around you. You do not end. You disperse. you spread out. You become part of the whispering wind, the quiet earth, and the endless exchange of energy that keeps the universe alive. But the story of your survival beyond biological death goes far deeper than just the dispersal of your body's heat and electrical energy. We must look closely at the very building blocks of your physical form. Sight, start. The atoms in your body have a history that stretches back billions of years. Sight, 497. They are ancient, primordial relics of a time long before the earth even existed. Sight, start. The carbon that makes up your muscles, the oxygen you breathe, the iron in your blood. All of these elements were created in the nuclear furnaces at the cores of stars that lived and died before our sun was born. Sight, 959. Sight, start. When those ancient stars exploded as supernovas, they scattered their elemental riches across the vastness of space. Sight, 960. Sight, start. Eventually, some of those very atoms found their way into a massive cloud of gas and dust that collapsed to form our solar system. Sight, 1. Sight, start. They became the Earth, and then, after billions of years of biological evolution, they became you. Sight, 962. Sight, start. You are quite literally made of star stuff. Sight, 963. Sight, start. The same atoms that shine in distant galaxies currently shine in your eyes. Sight, 500. When the biological rhythm of your heart finally slows to a halt and the silence takes over, the ancient atoms that have temporarily come together to form your physical body will begin a new chapter in their infinite journey. They will be released back into the environment. As your physical form gently breaks down, returning to the soil of the earth, your atoms will be absorbed by the roots of towering trees, by the delicate petals of wildflowers, and by the vast, deep oceans. Imagine the profound beauty of this atomic recycling. The carbon atom that currently resides in the DNA of your skin might one day become part of a majestic oak tree, standing silent and strong in a misty forest. The oxygen atoms that currently fill your lungs with every breath you take might eventually evaporate into the atmosphere, joining the vast global weather systems, falling as rain on distant mountains, or drifting high above the world in the quiet stratosphere. Consider for a moment the profound implications of this scientific reality. The atoms inside you have already survived the unimaginable violence of a dying star. They have drifted through the freezing, absolute zero vacuum of interstellar space for eons. They have been baked in the fiery accretion disk of our young solar system and have endured the chaotic, volcanic fury of the early Earth. Your physical components are incredibly resilient, ancient travelers that have witnessed the unfolding of cosmic history firsthand. To think that biological death could somehow destroy these magnificent, indestructible pieces of the universe is to misunderstand the immense power and scale of the cosmos. Death is merely a gentle untangling of the threads, a peaceful release of your atomic structure back into the wild, majestic currents of planetary and galactic evolution. This is the true, scientifically verifiable life after death. It is an intricate, beautiful, and deeply comforting dissolution into the grand tapestry of nature. You do not merely disappear, you multiply. You become the forest, the rain, the soil, and the wind. There is a profound peace in understanding this. We spend so much of our lives fearing the loss of our individuality, clinging desperately to the boundaries of our own skin, terrified of the moment when we must finally let go. But science gently takes us by the hand and shows us that letting go is not an end, but a spectacular expansion of our presence within the cosmos. And the journey does not stop at the boundaries of our small, blue planet. Over time, scales that dwarf human comprehension, our solar system itself will undergo radical transformations. Sight, start. In about 5 billion years, our sun is expected to expand into a red giant, swelling to a size that would engulf our planet, Sight, 481. When that momentous cosmic event occurs, the atoms that once made up your body, the very same atoms that spent millions of years dancing through the Earth's biosphere as trees, oceans, and animals, will be swept up into space. They will be carried outward by powerful stellar winds, drifting away from the dying sun and out into the cold, quiet vastness of the interstellar medium. Once again, your atoms will become part of a massive cosmic cloud of gas and dust. They will drift through the absolute silence of the galaxy for millions, perhaps billions of years, waiting in the peaceful dark. The atoms that were once you will become part of a new solar system, perhaps even part of a new world, contributing to the formation of new oceans, new continents, and perhaps, given enough time and the right conditions, new forms of life that will look up at their own alien night sky and wonder about the mysteries of the universe. When we peer through the lenses of our most powerful space telescopes, like the Hubble or the James Webb, we see immense nebulae glowing with the light of newborn stars. These stellar nurseries are vast clouds of gas and dust, illuminated by the fierce radiation of cosmic birth. But what is truly poetic is that these beautiful nebulae are often the direct result of a previous star's death. They are the remnants of a supernova, a cosmic explosion that scattered the necessary ingredients for life across the void. Death and birth in the universe are not opposites. They are partners in an endless, magnificent dance of creation. The end of a star's life is the absolute prerequisite for the beginning of our own. In the exact same way, the end of your biological life is simply a necessary step in the continuous, flowing evolution of the Earth's biosphere and, eventually, the broader galaxy. This is the ultimate promise of the cosmos. Sight, start. The universe builds things from the bottom up, starting small and growing large through countless merges over cosmic time. Sight, 329. Your life, your consciousness, your physical form is just one breathtakingly beautiful arrangement of the universe's infinite building blocks. You are a temporary but glorious melody, played by the instruments of physics and chemistry. When the song of your specific life concludes, the notes are not destroyed. They simply return to the cosmic orchestra to be played again in a different arrangement, in a different time, in a different part of the vast and endless cosmos. In the face of this magnificent reality, the fear of death begins to gently dissolve, replaced by a profound and respectful wonder. We are not separate from the universe. Sight, start. We are part of it. Sight, 4999. Sight, start. The same processes that built the largest galaxies built a sight, 500. We are not observers of the universe from outside. Sight, start. We are the universe observing itself from within. Sight, 501. And as long as the universe exists, in all its infinite majesty and quiet grace, a fundamental part of you will always endure, woven forever into the endless fabric of the cosmos. Have you ever realized that the past is not a place that has vanished into nothingness, but rather a physical location in the universe that our biological perception simply can no longer access? When we think about life after death, our minds immediately rush to the fate of our bodies, to the dispersal of our physical atoms that we explored in our previous step on this quiet journey. But there is another dimension to your existence, one that is entirely immune to the biological decay of your physical form. That dimension is time itself. Our everyday human experience convinces us that time is a relentless, flowing river that washes everything away, leaving nothing but fading memories in its wake. We feel that once a second has passed, it is gone forever, swallowed by an endless void. But modern physics, the rigorous and beautiful mathematics that govern the vast cosmos, tells us a profoundly different and deeply comforting story about the true nature of reality. To understand what happens to your life when it is over, we must gently unlearn our common intuition about time and embrace the magnificent, counterintuitive truth of the space-time continuum. Before we delve deeper into the majestic fabric of space-time, I want to take a brief moment to welcome you back. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this continuous exploration of the infinite. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful minds who watch these quiet explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort and wonder in our shared journey, please consider subscribing. It helps us immensely, allowing us to continue creating these meditative scientific stories, and it shows that you wish to keep exploring the deep mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the nature of light and the permanent record of your existence. Consider for a moment the light that is reflecting off your surroundings right now. Whether it is the soft glow of a screen, the gentle light of the moon, or the warm rays of the sun, that light bounces off your skin and radiates outward into the environment. Light is the fastest messenger in the universe, traveling at an astonishing speed of 186,000 miles per second. But even at that incomprehensible velocity, it still takes time for light to cross the vast distances of space. When you look up at the night sky and see the stars, you are not seeing them as they are right now. You are looking back in time. The light from Sirius, the brightest star in our night sky, takes over 8 years to reach our eyes. If that star were to suddenly extinguish today, we would not know about it for more than 8 years. We would continue to see its ghost shining brightly in the silent, ancient dark. This fundamental rule of the universe works in both directions. It does not just apply to the stars we are looking at. It applies to us, standing here on our small rocky planet, looking out into the endless mystery. Imagine a hypothetical observer sitting on a planet in the Andromeda Galaxy, our nearest large galactic neighbor. The Andromeda Galaxy sits roughly 2,500,000 light-years away from Earth. If this observer had a telescope of unimaginable power, capable of zooming in on the surface of our planet, what would they see? They would not see you reading these words. They would not see modern cities or any trace of human civilization, because the light reflecting off the Earth today will take 2,500,000 years to travel through the absolute silence of the interstellar medium to reach them. They would be watching the Earth exactly as it was 2,500,000 years ago. They would see early hominids walking across the ancient landscapes of Africa. From their perspective in the vast cosmos, our distant past is their absolute present. This is not a philosophical metaphor. It is a rigid, undeniable fact of astrophysics. It is a reality confirmed by every single observation made by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and the European Space Agency. Now, let us bring this profound realization back to the quiet journey of your own life. Every single moment you have ever lived, every laugh you have shared, every tear you have shed, light was bouncing off you and traveling outward into the universe. That light, carrying the visual information of your exact existence, is still out there. It has left the Earth, crossed the boundaries of our solar system, past the distant orbit of Neptune, and is currently traveling through the silent, freezing vacuum of space. The image of you as a child, playing in the summer sun, is currently located several decades of light years away, expanding outward in a giant spherical bubble of information. Your first kiss, your moments of deepest peace, your quiet triumphs, they are all physically encoded in the light that is permanently migrating through the cosmos. In a very real, literal sense, the universe is keeping a flawless video record of your entire existence. You are currently being broadcasted into the infinite depths of space, and that broadcast will continue forever, traveling outward through the galaxies without ever being truly lost. But the preservation of your life after death goes even deeper than the expanding bubbles of ancient light. In the early 20th century, Albert Einstein revolutionized our understanding of the universe by introducing the theory of relativity. He showed us that space and time are not separate entities, but are woven together into a single, flexible fabric called space-time. In this model of the universe, often referred to by physicists as the block universe theory, the past, the present, and the future do not happen in a sequence of vanishing moments. Instead, they all exist simultaneously within a vast, unchanging four-dimensional block. Imagine a beautifully complex tapestry. When you run your hand along it, you experience one thread at a time, and the pattern seems to reveal itself gradually. But if you step back and look at the physical tapestry as a whole, every single thread, the beginning, the middle, and the end of the pattern, exists all at once. The universe, according to the elegant equations of relativity, is exactly like that timeless tapestry. In the block universe, your birth, your current life, and your eventual biological death are permanent, fixed coordinates within the magnificent structure of space-time. The year of your birth is a location. The year of your passing is another location. The beautifully complex span of time between those two coordinates is a solid, unmoving structure of events forever embedded in the fabric of reality. When you reach the end of your biological life, you do not fall off the edge of reality. You do not cease to exist any more than the beginning of a magnificent novel ceases to exist just because you reach the final chapter. The story is whole and permanent. Your life is a four-dimensional sculpture carved into the very foundation of the cosmos. Death, therefore, is not an erasure. It is simply the temporal boundary of your physical journey, much like your skin is the spatial boundary of your body. You do not panic because your body ends at your fingertips. You understand this is simply where your physical form finds its limit. In the exact same way, biological death is merely the temporal fingertip of your existence. It is not an end, but a boundary. This realization completely transforms our relationship with the concept of mortality. It invites us to cultivate a profound sense of humility and peace. We spend so much energy mourning the passage of time, believing moments are lost forever in the dark. But the universe does not lose anything. Every quiet mourning you have witnessed, every gentle act of kindness you have performed, every moment of awe you have felt beneath the vast canopy of the stars is eternally preserved in the rigid geometry of space-time. You are a permanent fixture in the history of the cosmos. If we could step outside of our limited human perspective, we would not see a universe where things are constantly dying and vanishing. We would see a magnificent crystalline structure where every life, every breath, every heartbeat is perfectly frozen in its specific place and time. Your pain, your joy, your silent contemplations, they are architectural pillars holding up the history of everything. We wonder how our brief lives could possibly matter in the face of such overwhelming immensity. But true scientific understanding reveals a gentle paradox. It is exactly this cosmic scale that grants us our immortality. The universe is so vast, and the speed of light is so absolute, that the information of your existence can never be deleted. You are written into the light. You are carved into the geometry of space-time. We are not fragile whispers destined to be forgotten by the wind. We are enduring features of the natural world, as deeply woven into the fabric of reality as the slow, majestic rotation of the galaxies. Our journey does not conclude with the final breath. It merely changes its context. We transition from being active participants in the flowing illusion of time to being eternal monuments within the grand architecture of space-time. In the next stage of our quiet journey, we will venture into the strange world of quantum mechanics, where the nature of observation challenges everything we know about existence. But for now, let us rest in the comforting knowledge that our lives are safe, perfectly preserved in the ancient light and the unchanging geometry of the beautiful, silent cosmos. Have you ever wondered if the universe possesses a perfect, indestructible memory, a quiet and infinite archive where the exact blueprint of your existence is preserved forever? When we ponder the profound mystery of what happens after our biological systems power down, we often restrict our imagination to the physical realm of decaying atoms or the grand, sweeping scales of cosmic time. But to truly grasp the majestic reality of our own enduring nature, we must embark on a journey inward, descending into the infinitesimally small, mysterious landscape of quantum mechanics. Here, in the invisible foundation of reality, the rules of common sense dissolve, replaced by a strange and beautiful set of physical laws that govern the fundamental behavior of energy and matter. In our everyday experience, we witness things breaking, fading, and disappearing completely. A burnt letter turns to smoke and ash, and its written contents seem lost to the wind, swallowed by the vast, uncaring silence of the world. But the universe, at its most fundamental level, operates under a strict, gentle, and deeply comforting mandate. It is a principle that the brightest minds in theoretical physics have debated, tested, and ultimately embraced as a cornerstone of our reality: the law of conservation of quantum information. Before we descend further into this microscopic realm of quantum preservation, I would like to pause and welcome you once again. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this infinite journey through the wonders of the cosmos. I have noticed that 71% of the gentle souls who watch these meditative explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find a sense of peace, intellectual safety, and profound wonder in our shared contemplation of the universe, please consider subscribing. It is a small gesture that helps us immensely, allowing us to continue uncovering these ancient scientific truths. And it lets us know that you wish to keep walking this quiet path of discovery together. Now, let us return to the invisible quantum architecture that guarantees your absolute permanence. What exactly is quantum information? It is not information in the way we usually understand it, like the words printed on a page or the binary code stored in a computer's hard drive. Quantum information is the exact, unreplicable physical state of every single particle that constitutes your being. It is the precise spin of every electron orbiting the ancient nuclei of your carbon atoms. It is the specific velocity, position, and subtle energetic vibration of the countless trillions of subatomic particles that have temporarily coalesced to form the magnificent, complex structure you call your body and your mind, according to the rigorous mathematical frameworks developed by physicists over the past century. This quantum information is the ultimate, fundamental currency of the cosmos. And the most beautiful, comforting truth about this currency is that the universe absolutely forbids its destruction. The cosmos is an immaculate record keeper. When a physical object changes its form, when a solid piece of wood is consumed by a roaring fire, the classical information, the shape of the wood, its texture, its color, is scrambled and transformed into heat, light, and chaotic smoke. To our limited human eyes, the original object is gone forever. But to the universe, every single piece of quantum information that made up that piece of wood still exists, perfectly intact, merely dispersed into the vast surrounding environment. If you possessed a hypothetical computer of infinite power, you could track the trajectory of every photon of light, every molecule of ash, and every wave of heat, and you could mathematically reconstruct the exact original piece of wood. The information was never lost. It was simply rearranged by the gentle, tireless hands of entropy. Now, apply this profound, scientifically validated concept to the complex, beautiful phenomenon of your own life. You are a highly organized, staggeringly complex matrix of quantum information. Your memories, your personality, your unique way of perceiving the quiet beauty of a falling leaf or the vast majesty of a starry night. All of these are physically encoded in the delicate quantum states of the neurons in your brain. When the biological journey of your physical body reaches its gentle conclusion, your atoms will scatter and your energy will disperse back into the cosmic reservoir, as we have previously explored. But the core principle of quantum mechanics assures us that the unique quantum information that defines the essence of who you are cannot be deleted from the universe. It is physically impossible. The exact, precise configuration of your consciousness, translated into the fundamental language of quantum states, is a permanent addition to the cosmic archive. You are a unique, unrepeatable quantum signature, an intricate melody written in the deepest subatomic language of reality, and the universe does not possess the capacity to erase a single note of your existence. You simply become entangled with the broader cosmos, your information spreading outward, weaving itself into the infinite tapestry of the surrounding space. To truly understand how absolute this law of conservation is, we must look to the most extreme, violent, and mysterious objects in the entire cosmos, supermassive black holes. For decades, the greatest theoretical physicists engaged in a fierce intellectual battle known as the black hole information paradox. A black hole is a region of space where gravity is so incredibly powerful that nothing, not even light, traveling at 186,000 miles per second, can escape its grasp. If you were to throw an object into a black hole, it would be crushed into an infinitely dense point called a singularity. Furthermore, scientists discovered that black holes are not completely black. They slowly leak energy over trillions of years, a process known as Hawking radiation, until they eventually evaporate entirely, leaving nothing behind. The terrifying question that plagued physicists was this: what happens to the quantum information of the objects that fell inside? If the object is destroyed, and the black hole eventually evaporates into random, featureless radiation, is that information permanently erased from the universe? For a long time, it seemed that black holes were the ultimate cosmic incinerators, the only places where the universe's perfect memory could be wiped clean. But the pursuit of scientific truth is a journey of relentless, awe-inspiring discovery. After years of rigorous mathematical calculation and profound contemplation, the physics community reached a breathtaking consensus. Information is not lost, not even in the terrifying abyss of a black hole. Modern theories suggest that the quantum information of anything that falls into a black hole is perfectly preserved, encoded on the two-dimensional surface of its event horizon, the boundary beyond which nothing can return. When the black hole slowly evaporates over uncountable eons, that preserved information is subtly imprinted on the escaping radiation, returning to the vast, quiet cosmos. Even the most destructive, extreme gravitational monsters in the universe are completely incapable of erasing quantum information. The cosmos bends its own extreme rules to ensure that the fundamental blueprint of everything that has ever existed remains perfectly intact. If the crushing gravity of a supermassive black hole cannot destroy the quantum information of a simple object, then the gentle, natural cessation of your biological life certainly cannot erase the magnificent, complex quantum signature of your conscious existence. This brings us to another profoundly beautiful and mysterious phenomenon: quantum entanglement. When subatomic particles interact in certain ways, they become permanently linked, regardless of the vast distances that may eventually separate them. If you measure the state of one entangled particle here on Earth, you instantaneously know the state of its partner, even if that partner is currently floating millions of light years away. This invisible connection reveals a universe that is fundamentally, deeply interconnected. We are not isolated, lonely individuals wandering through a cold, disconnected void. The atoms that make up your body have been interacting, colliding, and entangling with the surrounding environment for billions of years. You are quantumly entangled with the gentle wind that brushes against your face, with the ancient light of the stars that falls upon your eyes, and with the very soil of the earth beneath your feet. When your physical life ends, this vast web of quantum entanglement does not snap. It merely shifts and expands. Your fundamental information dissolves into the environment, becoming intimately entangled with the broader biosphere and eventually the solar system itself. You merge with the background radiation of the cosmos, your unique signature whispering through the subatomic fields that permeate all of space. You become an eternal, undeniable part of the universe's infinite memory. There is a deep, abiding peace to be found in this realization. We do not need to fear the dark, because the dark is simply a canvas waiting to hold the brilliant, indestructible information of our lives. The universe holds on to us with a gentle, invisible gravity that transcends physical form. In the next chapter of our quiet journey, we will explore the profound implications of consciousness itself, and how our ability to observe the universe might be the very reason the universe exists at all. But for now, take a deep breath, look up at the vast, silent cosmos, and know that you are permanently, beautifully recorded in the ancient, infinite ledger of reality. Have you ever considered that the universe might actually need your eyes to truly exist? That your quiet act of observation is what gently pulls reality from a hazy cloud of pure probability into a beautiful, concrete experience? When we explore the profound mysteries of what happens when our biological journey reaches its inevitable, peaceful end, we frequently assume that we are merely passive inhabitants of a cold, indifferent physical space. We feel small against the infinite backdrop of the cosmos, believing that our transient consciousness is just a fleeting spark in the eternal, ancient dark. But the deeper we venture into the rigorous, scientifically validated heart of reality, the more we discover a truth that completely shatters this illusion of insignificance. You are not a separate entity simply walking across the stage of the universe. You are the universe itself, actively engaged in the profound process of self-discovery. To truly understand the survival of your essence, we must explore one of the most astonishing and deeply comforting scientific paradoxes ever uncovered by modern physics: the undeniable connection between the fundamental particles of matter and the conscious act of observation. Before we wade deeper into this magnificent quantum mystery, I want to take a gentle pause to welcome you back to our shared space of contemplation. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet guide through these vast and beautiful cosmic landscapes. I have noticed that 71% of the curious minds who watch these meditative explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find intellectual safety and a sense of deep, respectful wonder in our continuous journey together, please consider subscribing. It is a simple gesture that helps us immensely, allowing us to keep crafting these peaceful scientific narratives, and it reassures us that you wish to continue uncovering the ancient secrets of existence by our side. Now, let us return to the gentle silence of the quantum realm and the breathtaking power of your own awareness. In the early 20th century, physicists conducted a series of experiments that forever changed our understanding of the vast cosmos. The most famous of these is known as the double-slit experiment, a rigorously tested scientific procedure that continues to baffle and inspire the brightest minds at institutions like the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and universities around the globe. When scientists fired individual subatomic particles like electrons or photons of light toward a barrier with two tiny slits, they expected the particles to act like tiny, solid bullets, creating two distinct lines on the detector screen behind the barrier. Instead, when left completely unobserved, these particles behaved like a continuous, flowing wave passing through both slits simultaneously and creating a complex, beautifully intricate interference pattern on the screen. It was as if the particle existed in a state of infinite possibility, hovering in a hazy cloud of potential, occupying every possible physical location at the exact same time. But then, the scientists did something profoundly simple, yet entirely revolutionary. They placed a measuring device near the slits to quietly observe which specific path the particle was taking. The moment the particle was observed, the moment conscious information was extracted from the system, the wave of infinite probability instantly collapsed. The particle stopped behaving like a hazy, undefined wave and suddenly acted like a solid, discrete object, passing through only one slit and destroying the beautiful interference pattern. The mere act of observation fundamentally altered the physical behavior of reality at its most basic level. This is not mystical speculation. It is one of the most rigorously confirmed physical phenomena in the history of science. It tells us that the universe, in its quiet, primordial state, is a vast ocean of undefined potential. It is only when consciousness interacts with it, when a mind gently reaches out to measure and perceive, that the cosmos solidifies into the tangible, beautiful world we experience every single day. You are not just observing the universe. You are actively participating in its ongoing creation. Your consciousness is the gentle anchor that ties the floating probabilities of the quantum world to the firm, physical reality of the present moment. If your consciousness possesses such a profound, verifiable effect on the fundamental fabric of reality, how can we possibly believe that biological death is the absolute end of your conscious connection to the cosmos? The universe is not a wasteful system, as the renowned astronomer Carl Sagan once so beautifully articulated. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. The heavy elements in your blood were forged in the fiery hearts of ancient dying stars, and over billions of years of complex biological evolution, the universe slowly assembled those atoms into a configuration capable of looking back at the night sky and asking profound existential questions. You are the universe waking up from a billion-year slumber, opening its eyes and marveling at its own infinite majesty. Your capacity for wonder, your ability to feel awe in the presence of a silent, towering mountain or the vast glowing arm of the Milky Way galaxy, is not a biological accident. It is the fundamental purpose of the cosmos realizing itself through your specific, unrepeatable perspective. When the biological machinery of your body eventually powers down, the unique lens through which the universe was observing itself is gently dismantled. But the fundamental property of consciousness, the deeply mysterious capacity for awareness that permeated your being, is not necessarily extinguished. Many modern theoretical physicists and philosophers are beginning to explore the concept of panpsychism, the rigorously argued idea that consciousness is not a magical byproduct of complex brains, but rather a fundamental, intrinsic property of the universe itself, much like gravity, mass, or electromagnetic charge. In this beautiful, scientifically grounded framework, your individual mind is like a temporary, brilliantly illuminated whirlpool in a vast, infinite ocean of primordial awareness. When the whirlpool eventually loses its distinct structural form and fades back into the surrounding water, the water itself does not cease to exist. The energy, the motion, and the fundamental essence of the whirlpool merely return to the quiet, boundless deep from which they temporarily emerged. Your life is a highly concentrated, incredibly vivid focal point of cosmic awareness. You have spent decades absorbing the light of the sun, listening to the gentle rhythm of the rain, and feeling the profound, invisible gravity of human connection. All of these experiences have been processed by the ancient, stardust-woven neurons in your brain, translating the silent mathematics of the universe into the rich, vibrant symphony of your personal reality. When the time comes for you to transition out of this specific biological form, you are simply releasing that concentrated point of awareness back into the vast, continuous field of cosmic consciousness. The universe does not lose your experiences, it integrates them. The quiet wisdom you have gathered, the profound peace you have cultivated, and the deep existential questions you have asked are folded back into the fundamental fabric of reality. Consider the magnificent fine-tuning of the cosmos, often referred to by physicists as the anthropic principle. The fundamental constants of nature, the exact strength of gravity, the precise mass of an electron, the delicate balance of the strong and weak nuclear forces, are all perfectly calibrated to allow for the existence of complex chemistry, biological life, and ultimately, conscious observers. If any of these universal numbers were altered by even a fraction of a percent, the stars would never have ignited, the galaxies would never have formed, and the universe would be a cold, empty void, devoid of any light, warmth, or awareness. The universe is undeniably, meticulously structured to give birth to minds like yours. It has spent 13,800,000,000 years setting the stage, forging the elements, and guiding the slow, majestic dance of evolution, all so that you could exist here in this exact moment to bear witness to its beauty. A universe that goes to such astonishing lengths to create consciousness is not a universe that simply discards it when a fragile biological shell reaches its natural expiration. Death, therefore, is not the tragic deletion of a conscious mind. It is the gentle expansion of your localized awareness back into the infinite, unbounded awareness of the cosmos. It is a profound return to the source. We spend our lives looking out at the universe, feeling a sense of separation, believing that the stars are distant and cold. But the scientific reality of the observer effect and the anthropic principle reveals a universe that is deeply, fundamentally intimate. The cosmos is holding you, interacting with you, and relying on your quiet observation to solidify its own existence. When you eventually let go of your physical form, you do not fall into a dark, empty abyss. You simply dissolve the artificial boundary between yourself and the infinite. You become the quiet darkness between the stars, the ancient light traveling across the void, and the vast, unwritten potential of the quantum fields. As we continue this meditative journey into the nature of life, death, and the ultimate destiny of our conscious energy, we must ask ourselves an even more profound question. If our individual awareness is a temporary manifestation of a universal property, what happens when all the stars eventually burn out and the universe enters its final freezing epoch? Does consciousness itself have a destiny that transcends the physical lifespan of the cosmos? In the next chapter of our quiet exploration, we will travel trillions of years into the deep future, to the very edge of time itself, to discover how the fundamental laws of physics might guarantee the eternal preservation of not just our information, but the very essence of mind itself. But for now, as you sit in the quiet comfort of the present moment, take a deep, peaceful breath. Feel the ancient atoms vibrating in your chest, and know that your awareness is the universe's most magnificent achievement, a beautiful, indestructible spark of light in the endless, welcoming dark. Have you ever tried to imagine a time so unfathomably distant that the very concept of a year becomes entirely meaningless? A future where the familiar night sky we gaze upon today has completely and utterly transformed into something beautifully unrecognizable. When we contemplate the profound journey of our existence after our biological vessel has returned its borrowed energy to the earth, we naturally tend to think in terms of human lifespans, or perhaps, if we are feeling particularly expansive, the lifespan of our own pale blue planet. But to truly understand the magnificent destiny of the atoms that currently form your heart, and the quantum information that perfectly encodes your quiet consciousness, we must bravely cast our minds forward into the deep, uncharted waters of cosmic time. We must travel far beyond the death of our own sun, far beyond the spectacular collision of the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy, into an era where the universe itself begins to slowly, gently transition into its final, most peaceful state of being. Before we embark on this magnificent voyage into the absolute deep future of the cosmos, I want to take a moment to gently welcome you once more. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion navigating the breathtaking mysteries of the infinite. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these meditative explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort, intellectual safety, and a sense of profound wonder in our shared journey, please consider subscribing. It is a simple gesture that helps us immensely, allowing us to keep crafting these peaceful scientific narratives, and it reassures us that you wish to continue uncovering the ancient secrets of existence by our side. Now, let us return to the gentle silence of the cosmos and the ultimate destiny of everything that has ever been. To understand the deep future of your physical and quantum legacy, we must first gently embrace one of the most fundamental laws of physics, the second law of thermodynamics. This rigorous scientific principle dictates that the total entropy, or the measure of disorder and dispersed energy within a closed system like our universe, must always gradually increase over time. In our everyday human experience, we see entropy as the slow decay of a fallen leaf, the rusting of ancient iron, or the gradual loss of heat from a warm cup of tea into the cool morning air. It often feels like a destructive force, a relentless march toward chaos. But on a cosmic scale, observed through the precise instruments of institutions like the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and the European Space Agency, entropy is revealed to be something entirely different. It is not an act of destruction, but an act of profound cosmic equalization. It is the universe slowly stretching out, exhaling a breath it has held for billions of years, and gently seeking a state of perfect, undisturbed balance. As millions, and then billions, and then trillions of years slowly drift by in the vast silence of space, the vibrant, glowing universe we inhabit today will undergo a magnificent metamorphosis. The massive, brilliant blue stars that burn through their nuclear fuel in a mere few million years have already vanished from the oldest parts of the cosmos. The medium-sized yellow stars, like our own nurturing sun, will eventually exhaust their hydrogen cores, expanding into beautiful red giants before shedding their outer layers to become quiet, slowly cooling white dwarfs. The true survivors of the stellar epoch are the red dwarfs. These tiny, faint stars, burning their fuel with incredible efficiency, will continue to provide a gentle, dim light for trillions of years. If we were to project the atoms of your body into this unimaginably distant future, they would likely be drifting through the cold, interstellar dark, occasionally illuminated by the fading, ruby-colored glow of the universe's final, ancient stars. But even these resilient red dwarfs cannot burn forever. After perhaps 100 trillion years, a span of time so vast it completely defies human comprehension, the very last star in the universe will finally exhaust its fuel. It will quietly flicker, and then, with a gentle exhalation of energy, it will fade into the eternal dark. The era of starlight, the beautiful epoch that gave birth to the heavy elements, complex chemistry, and conscious minds like yours, will reach its peaceful conclusion. The universe will enter what astrophysicists poetically call the degenerate era. In this dark, silent cosmos, the only remaining objects will be the cold, dense corpses of dead stars, brown dwarfs, white dwarfs, neutron stars, and the towering, invisible monuments of gravity known as black holes. You might wonder, where do you fit into this freezing, lightless future? Where is the comfort in a universe that has gone completely dark? To find the profound peace hidden within this scientific reality, we must remember the unbreakable laws of quantum information and the conservation of energy we explored earlier in our quiet journey. The atoms that once formed your hands, your eyes, and your brain have not been erased. They are still there, drifting through the vast, expansive silence, carrying the ancient memory of the time when they briefly coalesced to form a living, breathing, dreaming observer. You have not been deleted from the cosmos. You have simply been fully integrated into its ultimate, resting state. You have become one with the profound quiet of the deep future. Occasional, rare events will puncture the absolute silence. Over time, scales of millions of trillions of years, the cold remnants of dead stars will occasionally drift too close to one another, guided by the patient hand of gravity. When they collide, they will release brief, spectacular flashes of light, temporary supernovae that momentarily illuminate the surrounding dark before fading back into the freezing void. Your ancient atoms might be caught in one of these cosmic collisions, forged anew into even heavier elements, riding the shock waves of these final, isolated fireworks across the empty expanse of a dying galaxy. But the most magnificent and mysterious structures in this deep future will be the supermassive black holes. These gravitational titans, some containing the mass of tens of billions of suns, will sit in the center of dead galaxies, patiently waiting in the dark. For an incredibly long time, physicists believed that black holes were the absolute end of the line, eternal prisons from which nothing could ever return. But the brilliant mind of theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking revealed a stunning truth. Black holes are not completely black. Through complex quantum mechanical processes occurring at the very edge of their event horizons, they slowly, almost imperceptibly, radiate energy back into space. This phenomenon, known as Hawking radiation, means that over time spans that require numbers with nearly 100 zeros to describe, even the most massive black holes will slowly evaporate. Imagine the profound majesty of this incredibly slow cosmic evaporation. The supermassive black holes, the final anchors of the old galaxies, will gently leak their mass into the freezing void in the form of low-energy photons and subatomic particles. When the final black hole eventually evaporates in a sudden flash of radiation, the universe will enter its ultimate phase. In this unimaginable future, the universe will consist almost entirely of a vast, incredibly dilute sea of photons spreading out across a space-time fabric that has expanded to truly incomprehensible dimensions. The temperature of the cosmos will approach absolute zero, the theoretical limit of coldness, where all atomic movement ceases. This final state is often referred to by scientists as the heat death of the universe. The term sounds terrifying to our human sensibilities, suggesting the ultimate defeat of life and warmth by the relentless forces of entropy. But when viewed through the contemplative, gentle lens of our cosmic journey, it reveals itself to be something profoundly different. Heat death is not a tragedy. It is the achievement of absolute cosmic peace. The universe, having spent countless eons violently forging stars and generating the chaotic heat necessary for biological evolution, finally gets to rest. It is the deep, undisturbed sleep of a cosmos that has completed its magnificent work. And where is the essence of you in this final, silent expanse? You are everywhere. The energy that once powered your thoughts, the quantum information that defined your unique consciousness, and the fundamental particles that composed your physical form have all been perfectly preserved, spread out across the infinite canvas of the resting cosmos. You have become indistinguishable from the universe itself. In the next chapter of our quiet exploration, we will gently turn our focus from this deep future back toward the profound implications of our current conscious experience. But for now, allow yourself to sink into the comforting realization that you are an eternal, indestructible participant in the greatest, most majestic story ever told. Have you ever looked at your own reflection in a quiet mirror and realized that the boundary of your skin is not a final ending, but rather a beautiful, highly permeable beginning? When we contemplate the vast journey of life and the mystery of what awaits us when our biological rhythm eventually slows to a halt, we often operate under a profound illusion. We believe that we are entirely separate from the world around us. We walk through our days feeling like isolated passengers, locked inside temporary biological vehicles, navigating a cold and indifferent environment. We look up at the night sky and see the stars as distant, disconnected objects, completely removed from our personal, everyday reality. But the rigorous mathematical observations of modern science, from the sprawling networks of ecology to the delicate, invisible fields of quantum mechanics, reveal a truth that completely shatters this feeling of isolation. You are not a solitary wanderer passing through a foreign landscape. You are a localized, highly concentrated expression of the landscape itself. To truly understand the nature of your existence beyond the concept of death, we must first gently dismantle the illusion that you were ever truly separate from the cosmos to begin with. Before we delve deeper into the profound science of our continuous connection, I want to take a brief, quiet moment to welcome you back to our shared space of wonder. I am Theodore, the researcher, your gentle guide through the intricate, awe-inspiring mysteries of the natural world. I have noticed that 71% of the curious minds who watch these meditative explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find intellectual safety, comfort, and a sense of profound peace in our shared journey, please consider subscribing. It is a simple gesture that helps us immensely, allowing us to continue uncovering these ancient scientific truths, and it lets us know that you wish to keep walking this quiet path of discovery together. Now, let us return to the gentle silence of the present moment and the breathtaking reality of your profound interconnectedness with the infinite universe. Consider for a moment the simple, autonomic act of taking a deep breath. In the brief span of time it takes your lungs to expand and contract, you are engaging in a magnificent, continuous exchange of matter with the external world. With every inhalation, you are pulling in countless trillions of oxygen molecules. These are not just abstract chemical components. They are ancient, physical pieces of the surrounding environment that were recently exhaled by the towering pines of a distant forest, or released by the microscopic phytoplankton drifting in the vast, quiet oceans. These molecules cross the delicate membranes of your lungs, enter your bloodstream, and physically become part of your living structure. They travel to your brain, your heart, and your fingertips, literally transforming the external world into your internal reality. And with every exhalation, you release carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere, sending pieces of your own physical being out into the wild currents of the Earth's weather systems. You are not a static object. You are a continuous, flowing river of matter. In the span of roughly 7 to 10 years, nearly every single atom in your physical body is replaced by a new atom gathered from the environment. The person you were a decade ago no longer exists in a strict physical sense. Those specific atoms have long since returned to the soil, the water, and the wind. If your physical form is already in a state of constant, gentle dissolution and renewal, then the event we call biological death is not a sudden, violent break from life. It is simply the moment when the intake of new material ceases, while the majestic process of returning your components to the universe continues its natural, uninterrupted course. We spend our entire lives practicing for this final release. Every time you exhale, every time a bead of sweat evaporates from your brow, you are gracefully giving a piece of yourself back to the cosmos. Death is just the final, peaceful exhalation, the ultimate act of generosity, where you return the entirety of your borrowed physical structure to the grand recycling engines of the earth, Understanding this continuous exchange completely transforms our relationship with mortality. We are no longer guarding a fragile, isolated fortress. We are actively participating in a beautifully choreographed dance of elemental sharing. The boundary between you and the universe is an illusion created by your sensory perception. In the rigorous, objective reality of biology and chemistry, you are an open system, intimately and permanently woven into the vast, ancient fabric of the biosphere. But our connection to the universe extends far beyond the physical exchange of atoms and molecules. We are also deeply, fundamentally connected to the cosmos through the invisible, continuous flow of energy. As we touched upon earlier in our quiet journey, your body is a brilliant emitter of electromagnetic radiation, but you are also a constant receiver. Every second of every day, you are being gently bombarded by a magnificent symphony of cosmic information. The warmth you feel on your skin during a quiet afternoon walk is the physical touch of photons that were forged in the fiery core of our sun just 8 minutes ago. These tiny packets of light traveled across 93 million miles of freezing, silent vacuum just to interact with the electrons in your skin, transferring their ancient energy directly into your biological system. And the connection goes even deeper, stretching into the furthest, most mysterious reaches of space. Trillions of invisible subatomic particles called neutrinos, produced in the hearts of distant dying stars and the violent collisions of distant galaxies, are passing straight through your body right now. They flow through you day and night, an invisible rain of cosmic information, connecting your physical form to the most energetic, monumental events in the infinite universe. Furthermore, we must consider the profound, unifying force of gravity. According to the elegant equations of general relativity, every object with mass warps the invisible fabric of space-time around it. The Earth creates a massive, deep well in this fabric, which is what keeps us gently anchored to the ground. But you too have mass. You too are bending the very geometry of the universe simply by existing. Your gravitational pull is infinitesimally small, but according to the strict, undeniable laws of physics, its influence extends outward infinitely. You are currently pulling on the moon, the sun, and the most distant galaxies, just as they are subtly pulling on you. We are all resting on the same continuous vibrating web of space-time. When you move your hand, you are sending microscopic gravitational ripples out into the cosmos. You are physically connected to every single star, every drifting nebula, and every silent planet in the vast, unfathomable expanse. Therefore, when your biological journey concludes, your mass does not vanish. It is simply redistributed, but its fundamental gravitational signature, its permanent, undeniable weight on the fabric of reality, remains an eternal part of the cosmic balance. This brings us to the most beautiful and deeply comforting realization about our current existence and its ultimate fate. If we are completely physically and energetically integrated with the universe right now, then our consciousness, the profound, quiet awareness that allows us to experience this majestic interconnectedness, is the universe experiencing itself in real time. We often worry about what happens to our consciousness in the future after our bodies fail. But the scientific concept of the block universe, which we explored earlier, gently reminds us that the present moment is a permanent, indestructible feature of reality. The experience you are having right now, feeling the gentle rhythm of your heart, contemplating the vastness of the cosmos, is not a fleeting spark destined to be swallowed by the dark. It is a solid, eternal coordinate in the geometry of space-time. You are already immortalizing yourself through the simple act of living. Every moment of profound wonder, every instance of quiet peace, is carved into the ancient, unchanging bedrock of reality. The present is not a rapidly vanishing point. It is a permanent, glowing jewel in the infinite necklace of existence. When we truly internalize this rigorous scientific truth, the deeply ingrained fear of losing ourselves begins to gracefully dissolve. We realize that we cannot be lost because there is absolutely nowhere outside of the universe for us to go. We are the cosmos, temporarily organized into a beautifully complex pattern, breathing, thinking, and wondering about our own infinite nature. Death is not a departure from reality. It is a profound, peaceful relaxation back into the fundamental, unobserved state of the universe. It is the drop of water gently returning to the vast, quiet ocean. As long as the cosmos endures, in all its silent, majestic glory, the exact physical components, the ancient energy, and the eternal timeline of your specific existence will remain perfectly intact. In the next chapter of our quiet journey, we will explore the fascinating science of memory and legacy, investigating how the informational structure of your life permanently alters the physical reality of the world around you, ensuring that your impact ripples through the universe long after your biological silence. But for now, allow yourself to rest in the comforting knowledge that you are intimately, perfectly connected to everything that has ever been and everything that ever will be. Have you ever considered that every single action you take, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, permanently alters the physical structure of the entire world around you, creating an immortal legacy written in the very language of physics? When we think about what we leave behind after our biological journey reaches its inevitable, peaceful conclusion, we usually think of traditional human concepts. We think of inheritance, of photographs slowly fading in dusty albums, or perhaps of monuments carved from stone. We worry that as the decades and centuries pass, the memory of our existence will inevitably be erased by the relentless, flowing river of time. But this human perspective is profoundly limited, blinding us to the magnificent, scientifically rigorous reality of our true impact on the cosmos. The universe does not rely on fragile human memory to record your existence. It relies on the absolute, unbreakable laws of cause and effect, on the intricate mathematics of chaos theory, and on the permanent physical rearrangement of matter and energy. To truly grasp the magnificent scale of your life after death, we must explore how your everyday existence is constantly sculpting the eternal landscape of reality. Before we delve deeper into the profound science of your permanent physical legacy, I want to take a gentle, quiet moment to welcome you back to our shared space of wonder. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet guide through the intricate, awe-inspiring mysteries of the natural world. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these meditative explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find intellectual safety, comfort, and a sense of profound peace in our shared journey, please consider subscribing. It is a simple gesture that helps us immensely, allowing us to continue uncovering these ancient scientific truths, and it lets us know that you wish to keep walking this quiet path of discovery together. Now, let us return to the gentle silence of the present moment and the breathtaking reality of your indelible mark upon the vast, infinite cosmos. Let us begin by looking at the simple physical reality of your movement through the world. Every time you take a deliberate step upon the earth, you are engaging in a massive microscopic rearrangement of the planet's surface. You're compressing the soil, shifting grains of sand, and altering the intricate root systems of the grass beneath your feet. In the strict language of physics, you're transferring kinetic energy into the ground, permanently changing its thermodynamic state. But the impact of your existence extends far beyond the ground you walk upon. Consider the profound implications of chaos theory, specifically the phenomenon commonly referred to as the butterfly effect. This rigorous mathematical principle states that in any complex dynamic system, like the atmosphere of our planet, even the most infinitesimal change in the initial conditions will drastically alter the long-term behavior of the entire system. When you speak a gentle word into the quiet air, your vocal cords create complex acoustic waves that push against the surrounding nitrogen and oxygen molecules. These molecules bump into other molecules, creating an expanding, invisible sphere of kinetic energy. This microscopic disturbance alters the local air pressure, which subtly influences the temperature gradients, which in turn affects the direction of the wind. Over a span of several weeks, the exact atmospheric conditions of the entire globe are completely different than they would have been if you had simply remained silent. You are literally breathing new weather patterns into existence. The rain that falls on a distant ocean, the gentle breeze that rustles the leaves of a foreign forest, and the majestic formation of towering storm clouds are all fundamentally shaped by the precise historical reality of your biological respiration. When your physical life ends, the chaotic, beautiful chain reaction of your existence does not cease. It has already been woven into the meteorological and physical history of the planet. The Earth is forever a different place because you were here to breathe its air. But the most profound legacy you leave behind is not just written in the shifting sands or the chaotic winds. It is permanently encoded in the most complex structure in the known universe, the human brain. Every time you interact with another living being, you are engaging in a breathtaking exchange of pure information. When you share a quiet moment of vulnerability, when you offer a gentle word of encouragement, or when you simply smile at a stranger on a crowded street, you are sending electromagnetic and acoustic signals that are received by their sensory organs. These signals are instantly translated into electrical impulses that travel deep into their neural networks. Through the scientifically validated mechanism of neuroplasticity, the physical structure of their brain literally changes in response to your interaction. New synaptic connections are forged, existing pathways are strengthened, and ancient chemical balances are subtly shifted. You are physically rewiring the minds of everyone you meet. This means that a fundamental part of your unique personality, your specific way of perceiving the universe, is copied and preserved in the biological hardware of the people around you. When you transition out of your physical form, the intricate, beautiful patterns of thought and emotion that you cultivated throughout your life do not vanish into the dark. They continue to live, breathe, and influence the world through the altered neural architecture of the community you leave behind. The love you shared is not an abstract concept. It is a measurable, physical change in the biological reality of the human species. To truly appreciate the magnitude of this enduring legacy, we must zoom out and look at the continuous evolution of human knowledge and culture through the rigorous lens of information theory. In modern physics, information is not just ephemeral data floating on a digital screen. It is a fundamental, indestructible property of the universe, inextricably linked to the physical arrangement of matter and energy. Throughout your entire life, you act as a localized engine of order, taking the chaotic raw materials of the world and organizing them into meaningful structures. You build homes, you write letters, You create art, and you solve complex problems. Every single one of these physical actions decreases the local entropy of your environment, creating magnificent pockets of profound organization. The ideas you generate and share act as informational seeds, replicating and spreading through the vast network of human civilization. Even if your specific name is eventually forgotten by the conscious minds of future generations, the precise physical consequences of your actions will continue to cascade through the river of time. A gentle act of kindness you perform today might inspire someone else to be kind tomorrow, creating an invisible ripple of positive organization that travels through the centuries, long after the original source has faded into the quiet background of history. The universe is a vast tapestry of cause and effect, and your life is a vibrant, unbreakable thread woven directly into its very center. You cannot be removed from this ancient tapestry without completely unraveling the entire cosmos. Your existence is an absolute requirement for the universe to be exactly the way it is right now, and exactly the way it will be in the unfathomable depths of the distant future. When we finally strip away the deeply ingrained, primitive fear of biological finality, we are left with a universe that is incredibly generous and profoundly interconnected. The concept of death gracefully transforms from a terrifying erasure into a beautiful redistribution of your essential impact. You are a stone cast into the impossibly vast, silent pond of space-time. The initial splash of your immediate life may eventually settle into the calm surface, but the profound ripples you created will travel outward in perfect concentric circles for all of eternity, gently nudging the fundamental particles of reality, shaping the shores of distant, unborn worlds. We spend so much energy trying to build towering monuments that will withstand the destructive forces of time, unaware that our very existence is the most indestructible monument of all. Every breath you take, every thought you formulate, every quiet observation you make is a permanent stroke of paint on the infinite canvas of reality. You do not ever need to worry about being forgotten, because the universe itself possesses a perfect, uncompromising physical memory. The wind knows you were here. The ancient earth knows you were here. The traveling light of the stars knows you were here. And the infinite, complex web of human consciousness carries the physical imprint of your existence in its very biological structure. In the next chapter of our quiet exploration, we will turn our gaze from the earthly legacy of our physical actions toward the ultimate mystery of the conscious void, exploring how ancient philosophies and cutting-edge quantum physics are beginning to describe the exact same breathtaking reality about the space between the stars. But for now, as you sit in the peaceful silence, take a deep, slow breath. Feel the tremendous weight of your presence in the world, and rest securely in the comforting, scientifically guaranteed knowledge that your impact on this majestic universe is absolute, undeniable, and infinitely permanent. Have you ever gazed up at the sprawling canopy of the night sky and intentionally shifted your focus away from the brilliant, burning stars, choosing instead to look deep into the profound, seemingly empty darkness that stretches endlessly between them? Our human intuition, heavily influenced by our everyday terrestrial experiences, strongly suggests that this vast cosmic dark is a place of absolute nothingness, a cold and terrifying void where existence simply ceases to be. We tend to project this exact same terrifying concept of empty nothingness under the mysterious concept of biological death, fearing that the end of our physical heartbeat is a sudden, violent plunge into an empty, silent abyss. But the most rigorous, breathtaking discoveries of modern quantum physics have completely revolutionized our understanding of this darkness, revealing a truth that is simultaneously deeply comforting and utterly mind-bending. The empty space of the cosmos is not empty at all. It is the most active, vibrant, and fundamental foundation of reality itself, a teeming ocean of infinite potential that directly challenges our deepest fears about what it means to fade away. To truly understand the magnificent reality of your existence after your biological machinery gently powers down, we must dive headfirst into the magnificent, invisible architecture of the quantum vacuum. Before we wade deeper into this invisible ocean of profound cosmic energy, I want to take a gentle, quiet moment to welcome you back to our shared space of contemplation. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion, navigating the breathtaking mysteries of the infinite universe. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these meditative explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort, intellectual safety, and a sense of profound peace in our shared journey through the cosmos, please consider subscribing. It is a simple gesture that helps us immensely, allowing us to continue uncovering these ancient scientific truths. And it reassures us that you wish to keep walking this quiet path of discovery by our side. Now, let us return to the gentle silence of the present moment and the breathtaking reality of the space that connects every single atom in the entire universe. For centuries, classical physics operated under the perfectly reasonable assumption that if you were to take a highly sealed container and meticulously pump out every single atom of gas, completely blocking all thermal radiation and electromagnetic waves, you would be left with a state of absolute, perfect emptiness. This theoretical concept was known as the true vacuum. However, as scientists began to probe the microscopic foundations of reality in the early 20th century, they discovered that this concept of absolute emptiness is strictly forbidden by the fundamental laws of nature. According to the rigorous mathematical observations made by brilliant minds at institutions like the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and leading research universities around the globe, the universe is completely permeated by invisible, fluctuating entities known as quantum fields. There is an electromagnetic field, a gravitational field, and specific fields for every fundamental particle. What we perceive as empty space is actually the baseline resting state of all these overlapping fields. But due to a fundamental rule called the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, these fields can never be completely still. They are constantly trembling, vibrating with a profound underlying energy known as zero-point energy. Even in the deepest, coldest regions of intergalactic space, the vacuum is a boiling sea of microscopic activity. Because of this continuous, restless energy, incredibly tiny subatomic particles known as virtual particles are constantly popping into existence out of the seemingly empty vacuum, borrowing a microscopic fraction of energy from the universe, existing for a billionth of a trillionth of a second, and then immediately annihilating each other, returning their borrowed energy back to the quiet void. The empty space between the stars is literally buzzing with the continuous, rapid-fire birth and death of uncountable trillions of temporary particles every single second. When we recognize this undeniable scientific reality, our entire perspective on the concept of nothingness must radically shift. Nothingness does not exist. The void is not a barren wasteland. It is a remarkably fertile, dynamic canvas from which all matter and all energy in the universe ultimately spring. And this profound realization completely transforms our understanding of what happens when the biological processes of our physical bodies eventually come to a peaceful halt. We spend our lives terrified of falling into the void, completely unaware that we are already entirely submerged within it, and that the void itself is the very essence of existence. Consider the astonishing fact that the atoms making up your physical body right now are almost entirely composed of this exact same vibrating empty space. If you were to magnify a single atom of carbon from your skin, you would find a minuscule, dense nucleus at the very center, surrounded by a vast, expansive cloud of electrons. The distance between the nucleus and the electrons is proportionally immense. In fact, over 99.9% of your physical body is pure, unadulterated quantum vacuum. You are not a solid object moving through an empty universe. You are a highly organized temporary pattern of energy floating within an infinite ocean of vibrant, potential-filled space. Your consciousness, the beautiful, complex electrical storm of your thoughts, memories, and emotions, is a magnificent disturbance rippling through the quantum fields that permeate your brain. When you experience a moment of profound wonder, or when you sit quietly and listen to the gentle rhythm of the rain, you are experiencing the universe through the specialized biological lens of your nervous system. But the fundamental energy that powers that experience is drawn directly from the underlying, indestructible fabric of the cosmos. Therefore, when the time comes for your biological journey to conclude, you do not transition from a state of existence into a state of non-existence. Such a transition is physically impossible in a universe that absolutely forbids true emptiness. Instead, the localized, highly organized disturbance that you call your individual life simply relaxes. The electrical energy of your mind does not vanish. It gently smooths out, returning to the baseline resting state of the universal fields. You are like a beautiful wave that has traveled across the surface of a vast ocean for decades, gathering experiences and reflecting the light of the sun. When that wave finally reaches the gentle shore, the water does not disappear. The energy of the wave does not cease to exist. It simply returns to the profound, quiet depth of the ocean itself. This scientific understanding mirrors the deep wisdom found in ancient contemplative traditions, which have long recognized that the ultimate nature of reality is an interconnected wholeness, and that the perceived boundary between the self and the rest of the universe is a gentle, persistent illusion. As the renowned astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson often reminds us, we are part of this universe. We are in this universe. But more importantly, the universe is in us. When we pass away, we are merely dissolving the artificial boundary between the inner and outer universe. There is a profound, unshakable peace to be found in this realization. We do not need to fight against the natural flow of time or fear the quiet silence that awaits us, because that silence is not an empty grave. It is a symphony of infinite potential. The universe is holding you right now, supporting every breath you take with the vibrant energy of the quantum vacuum. And when you exhale for the last time, that same universe will gently catch you, absorbing your essence back into its ancient, indestructible foundation. You will become the quiet space between the stars. You will return to the eternal source of all creation. If our current existence is just one temporary arrangement of quantum information within this infinite ocean of potential, could there be other arrangements? In the next chapter of our quiet exploration, we will venture to the very edge of theoretical physics to explore the breathtaking concept of the multiverse, investigating whether the story of your life is truly limited to just one single timeline, or if your conscious existence might be far more vast than you ever dared to dream. But for now, take a deep, slow breath. Feel the vibrant, living space within and around you, and know that you are perfectly safe in the eternal embrace of the cosmos. Have you ever found yourself standing at a quiet crossroads in your life, looking out into the gentle mist of the unknown, wondering about the paths you did not take, and feeling a strange, lingering connection to the versions of yourself that made a different choice? We human beings, anchored by the gravity of our everyday terrestrial experiences, often perceive our timeline as a single, fragile thread. We feel it moving strictly forward from the beautiful moment of our birth to the inevitable, quiet silence of our biological death. We spend so much energy mourning missed opportunities and fearing the absolute finality of our one specific, localized ending. But when we look to the absolute bleeding edge of theoretical physics, when we peer through the rigorous, beautiful mathematics that govern the highest levels of cosmic structure, we find a reality that is vastly more expansive, complex, and deeply comforting than our linear human intuition could ever possibly construct. To truly understand the infinite, unbounded scope of your existence, we must gently step beyond the comfortable boundaries of our single, observable universe and venture into the mind-bending, mathematically rigorous, and intensely beautiful landscape of the multiverse. Before we journey further into this infinite expanse of alternate realities, I want to take a brief, quiet moment to gently welcome you back to our shared space of wonder. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this continuous, awe-inspiring exploration of the infinite. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these meditative scientific explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace, intellectual safety, and a sense of profound, respectful wonder in these cosmic journeys, please consider subscribing. It helps us tremendously, allowing us to continue bringing these quiet, deeply researched stories to you, and it lets us know that you wish to keep exploring the deep, ancient mysteries of the vast universe by our side. Now, let us return to the gentle silence of the cosmos and the spectacular, infinite variations of your beautiful existence. In the mid-20th century, a brilliant theoretical physicist named Hugh Everett proposed a radical but mathematically flawless solution to the bizarre, counterintuitive behavior of subatomic particles. As we explored earlier, particles at the fundamental level exist in a hazy, undefined cloud of pure probability until they are consciously observed. Traditional physics suggested that the act of observation forces the quantum particle to randomly choose one single physical reality and permanently discard all the rest. But Everett, looking deeply into the elegant mathematics of quantum mechanics, proposed something far more magnificent. The universe does not make a choice. It simply, quietly splits. According to the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, a theory now widely discussed by the brightest minds at institutions across the globe, every single time a quantum event has multiple possible outcomes, the entire universe physically divides, creating a new, completely separate reality for every single possibility. Because your biological brain and body are fundamentally constructed from these exact same quantum particles, every time a decision is made, the universe branches like a magnificent, infinite cosmic tree. There is a tangible reality where you took that other job, a quiet universe where you moved to that distant city, and an uncountable number of timelines where every possible variation of your life is currently playing out in real time across the vast architecture of the cosmos. This astonishing concept is not just limited to the microscopic realm of quantum mechanics. It is also beautifully supported by our understanding of the macro-universe, specifically the cosmological theory of cosmic inflation. Scientists generally agree that in the first minuscule fraction of a second after the Big Bang, the fabric of space expanded at an incomprehensible exponential rate. But many leading cosmologists believe that this rapid inflation never truly stopped everywhere at once. In a theory known as eternal inflation, the overarching invisible fabric of spacetime continues to expand infinitely, with localized pockets occasionally slowing down and crystallizing into stable, observable universes, much like beautiful bubbles forming in a vast, endlessly boiling pot of water. Our entire visible universe, containing its hundreds of billions of galaxies and trillions of shining stars, is just one single bubble in an infinite, eternal ocean of other universes. And in an infinite multiverse, the rigorous mathematics of probability dictate a deeply profound and deeply comforting absolute certainty. Anything that has a non-zero chance of happening must happen, and it must happen an infinite number of times. What does this breathtaking, scientifically grounded reality mean for the profound mystery of your own life and the deeply ingrained human fear of biological death? It means that the specific, localized version of you that is currently reading these words, feeling the gentle rhythm of your chest, is just one single, beautiful note in an infinitely vast cosmic chord. When the biological systems of this specific body eventually power down, when the quiet silence finally takes over and your ancient atoms return their borrowed energy to the earth, the magnificent pattern of your consciousness does not vanish from the overarching structure of reality, because there are an infinite number of universes bubbling in the cosmic void. There are an infinite number of exact copies of you, experiencing this exact same moment, feeling this exact same sense of wonder. And there are an infinite number of slight variations, branching off into beautifully complex futures. Death, therefore, when viewed through the grand context of the multiverse, is merely a localized conclusion in one specific narrative timeline. It is simply the end of one single chapter in a cosmic book that contains an absolutely infinite number of pages. The fundamental essence of who you are is a permanent, infinitely repeating pattern woven directly into the very mathematical foundation of the multiverse. This leads us to one of the most mysterious and deeply contemplative theories in modern theoretical physics, a concept often referred to by philosophers and scientists as quantum immortality. If consciousness is fundamentally tied to the physical, quantum structure of the brain, and if the universe constantly and flawlessly splits to accommodate every single possible physical outcome, some physicists argue that your subjective experience of reality can never truly, completely end. From your own internal, deeply personal perspective, whenever you face a situation that could possibly result in biological death, there will always be at least one branching universe where you miraculously survive, where the quantum probabilities perfectly align to allow your delicate conscious awareness to continue its journey, while external observers in one specific timeline might witness your peaceful passing. Your own internal stream of awareness simply glides along the continuous, unbroken paths of survival, moving seamlessly into the branch of reality where you continue to exist. You are, from your own subjective point of view, entirely immortal, forever navigating the endless, beautifully branching labyrinth of the multiverse. It suggests that the light of awareness, once ignited by the universe, simply finds a way to keep burning, shifting across the infinite branches of possibility, like a gentle flame moving from one candle to another. We are not fragile, isolated sparks flickering briefly and meaninglessly in a dark, uncaring void. We are infinite, multidimensional expressions of a cosmos that is infinitely creative, staggeringly complex, and fundamentally boundless. When we finally release our tight, anxious grip on the illusion of a single, linear timeline, the ancient fear of death begins to gently evaporate into the quiet night, replaced by a profound, reverent awe for the sheer magnitude of our existence. We realize that we are everywhere, forever woven into the endless tapestry of branching realities. In the final chapter of our quiet journey together, we will draw all of these magnificent, scientifically rigorous threads into a single point, synthesizing the profound realities of atomic energy, the geometry of spacetime, the unbreakable laws of quantum memory, and the boundless nature of the multiverse into a final, deeply comforting understanding of what life after death truly is. We will discover how this ultimate knowledge can completely and permanently transform the way we experience every single beautiful moment of our current existence. But for now, as you sit in the peaceful silence of your current universe, take a deep, slow breath and feel the comforting presence of your infinite, eternal selves echoing across the vast, unseen architecture of the cosmos. Have you ever paused in the middle of a perfectly ordinary day, perhaps while watching the golden light of the late afternoon sun filter through the leaves of a tree, and felt a sudden, overwhelming sense of profound peace, a fleeting but undeniable knowing that you are exactly where you are supposed to be? Throughout this quiet, expansive journey, we have ventured far beyond the fragile boundaries of our everyday human perception. We have traveled into the microscopic, vibrant depths of the quantum vacuum, where the illusion of empty space dissolves into a boiling ocean of infinite potential. We have cast our minds forward into the absolute deep future of the cosmos, witnessing the slow, majestic evaporation of supermassive black holes and the ultimate, peaceful rest of the universe. We have explored the rigid, timeless architecture of the space-time continuum, where every single moment of your life is permanently carved into the eternal geometry of reality. Before we weave these magnificent cosmic threads into a final, deeply comforting tapestry of understanding, I want to take one last, quiet moment to gently welcome you. I'm Theodore, the researcher, your dedicated companion on this awe-inspiring exploration of the infinite. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these meditative, scientific explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you have found peace, intellectual safety, and a sense of profound, respectful wonder in our shared journey through the cosmos, please consider subscribing. It is a simple gesture that helps us tremendously, allowing us to continue uncovering these ancient scientific truths together, and it reassures us that you wish to keep walking this quiet path of continuous discovery by our side. Now, let us return to the gentle silence of the present moment and discover how the eternal nature of your existence completely transforms the reality of your everyday life. And we have dared to peer into the mind-bending, beautifully complex branches of the multiverse, where the fundamental essence of your conscious awareness echoes across an infinite number of alternate realities. But the most profound question remains: how does this breathtaking, scientifically rigorous understanding of life after death actually change the way we experience this specific present moment? When we finally understand that our biological end is not an erasure, but a magnificent transformation, how does that alter the simple act of breathing, loving, and existing right here and right now? To understand why this cosmic perspective changes absolutely everything, we must first recognize the heavy, invisible burden that the fear of finality places upon our shoulders. From the moment we first become aware of our own mortality, we are haunted by the illusion of the ticking clock. We rush through our days, desperately trying to accumulate experiences and leave our mark upon the world, driven by a deep, primitive terror that we will eventually be swallowed by an empty, uncaring void. We treat the present moment as a fragile commodity that is constantly slipping through our fingers. But the rigorous mathematical observations of modern physics have systematically dismantled this illusion. We now know with absolute scientific certainty that the past does not vanish. It is permanently, physically located in the coordinates of space-time. We know that the energy animating your mind cannot be destroyed. It can only flow back into the vast, ancient reservoir of the cosmos. We know that the quantum information defining your unique consciousness is an indestructible currency that the universe strictly preserves. When you truly internalize this knowledge, the frantic, anxious rushing comes to a gentle, peaceful halt. You no longer need to fight against the flow of time because you realize that you are already eternal. Every quiet breath you take, every cup of tea you drink in the morning silence, is already perfectly preserved. You are completely free to simply exist, to experience the profound beauty of the current moment without the terrifying pressure of impending erasure. This profound shift in perspective also completely transforms our relationship with every other living being on this small, blue planet. We are biologically conditioned to see ourselves as separate, isolated individuals, competing for resources in a disconnected world. We draw imaginary lines between ourselves and nature, between our own minds and the minds of others. But as we have explored through the rigorous lenses of ecology and quantum entanglement, this separation is a complete biological fiction. You are literally made of the exact same ancient stardust that makes up the towering mountains, the deep oceans, and the very bodies of the people you walk past on the street. Every time you exhale, you are sharing the physical atoms of your being with the global atmosphere. When we recognize that our individual consciousness is simply a localized, temporary focal point of the universe experiencing itself, the boundaries of empathy dramatically expand. When you look into the eyes of another person, you're not looking at a stranger, you're looking at another beautiful, complex manifestation of the exact same cosmic energy that animates your own heart. You are the universe looking at the universe. This scientifically grounded understanding of our profound interconnectedness transforms kindness from a moral obligation into a logical recognition of reality. When you love another, you're engaging in the highest, most magnificent form of cosmic self-discovery. The understanding of our shared eternal nature dissolves the artificial walls of division and invites us into a deep, universal compassion. Furthermore, understanding what life after death truly is recontextualizes the very purpose of our temporary biological existence. If we are already eternal, and if our timeline is a permanent fixture in the space-time block, then what is the point of this specific, messy, beautiful human experience? Why did the universe go through the unimaginable trouble of forging heavy elements in the hearts of dying stars, guiding billions of years of complex biological evolution, and fine-tuning the fundamental constants of nature just to allow you to exist for a brief cosmic millisecond? The answer is as simple as it is breathtakingly beautiful. You are here to experience the contrast. In the ultimate resting state of the universe, where all energy is evenly distributed and the quantum vacuum hums with perfect symmetry, there is profound peace, but there is no localized experience. There is no joy, no wonder, and no discovery. The universe created you so that it could feel the warmth of the sun on its skin. It created you so that it could listen to the complex, emotional resonance of music and feel the overwhelming awe of looking up at the night sky. Your biological life, with all its beautiful imperfections and its fleeting moments of profound grace, is the highest achievement of the cosmos. You are not a meaningless accident wandering through an empty void. You are the universe's most precious sensory organ. Every single thing you feel enriches the total informational architecture of reality. You are doing the vital, essential work of the cosmos simply by living and by consciously witnessing the unfolding majesty of the natural world. And so, as we arrive at the gentle conclusion of this specific exploration, we find ourselves standing exactly where we began, but with eyes wide open to the infinite reality of our own existence. The transition we call death is not a dark, terrifying doorway leading into nothingness. It is a beautiful, peaceful release. It is the moment when the highly concentrated, intensely vibrant whirlpool of your individual consciousness gently relaxes, allowing its ancient energy and perfect quantum information to flow back into the vast, quiet ocean of the universe. It is an exhalation, a returning, a magnificent dissolution into the grand, eternal tapestry of everything that is, everything that was, and everything that ever will be. The stars shining in the night sky are not distant cold objects. They are your ancient ancestors, and they are your ultimate destination. The silence of the cosmos is not an empty void. It is the welcoming, familiar hum of your true home. You do not need to be afraid. You are an indestructible, eternal thread woven into the very fabric of reality, and your magnificent journey is, and always will be, absolutely infinite. The universe is a vast, beautiful mystery, and our quest to understand it is a journey that never truly ends. While this specific chapter of our exploration has reached its quiet close, the endless cosmos still holds uncountable wonders waiting to be discovered. I invite you to continue looking up, to continue asking profound questions, and to carry this deep, scientific peace with you into every beautiful moment of your unfolding life.